Nam. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahavaranyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne Gaura tuje namaha. Srimach Chaitanya Saraswatamattavara Udita Kirti Jayashrim Vibrat Sambhati Ganga Tata Nikata Navadipa Koladri Raje Yatra Shri Gaura Saraswatamata Nirata Gaura Gata Grinanti Nityang Rupa Nuga Shri Kritamati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dear devotees, Daril, welcome. Now we've decoded your name. Hare Krishna. And Kumkum and Jivana and Kumkum. Welcome. Not only welcome, but our reverences for senior devotees here. And I saw some Chintamani, yes, Chintamani, chanting and dancing, perhaps in Eka Chakra, appearance place of Nityananda Prabhu. And Ganga Leela Devidasi with us, Tungarasa Devidasi early in the morning with us, and early in the morning Sevarupa Devidasi also. So welcome to you all. And I tried to go on Facebook this morning, and now Facebook is asking me, even though I've done nothing, I did nothing wrong, but they're asking me confirmation of things. So somehow or another, I'll have to look at that after our Zoom today. Hare Krishna. Nothing is permanent, we know, in the spirit, okay, not in the spiritual, in the digital world was what I was going to say. And a long time, when I was young, not so young, means when we were in Navadip and computers first came, then we were very new to, well, obviously everyone was new to computers, but we didn't have the sort of knowledge, the general knowledge of computers that probably people have in the Western world by being exposed to you know, the media, etc. But in Navadip, then we had the computer, but those days in particular, the hard drives didn't seem to last very long. And I recall being renounced on more than one occasion, in the sense of all the hard work we've done has disappeared and the drive stops working. And so we do have experience that we think, oh, this is all permanent that's in front of us. But it may not be permanent. So everything is good to permanently put into our heart. And that is the essence of devotion. That not to rely always that we're going to have something external to remind us of what is devotional service. But we need to try to be a devotee so it is with us inside. And if we don't suddenly have our beloved phones and computers, etc., etc., then we are still going to be a devotee. We're going to be able to do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, etc. The 9 processes of the 9 principal categories of devotional service. Hare Krishna. All right, so we had a question, but we'll wait because it was let me just see. We had a question from last time, I know. I take a quick look. Appointments. Oh, Narottam Nitai had a question from last time. So let's see. Narottam Nitai Prabhu quite often joins just a little later on. So we'll hold his question until he turns up. About the... Anyway, we'll mention the question when he arrives. If he doesn't arrive, we'll keep the question in the pending tray for a little while. So we are all here together, and we've got two devotees in India, at least two, yes, two devotees in India, Radha Sundari and Radha Sundari Devirasi and Chintamani Devirasi. Maybe we'll get a little touch from the holy downs as reminders of the fortune that we are in at the moment, that we have revealed to us various holy places, really holy places of pilgrimage, rather than kind of generated or distant, but we've got identified by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and on the Vrindavan side, identified by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, identified and places of pilgrimage that we know are places of the Lord's pastimes, and very often in quite a recent time. And here in Europe, 500 years ago is not that old. There are many buildings standing and in use that are more than 500 years old, by the way. I know in the United States, I was surprised to see antique shops. What's an antique in America? You know, like something that's 60 years old is an antique. But I think it has to be a little older than that in Europe to make it. But my point is that 500 years ago, there are many buildings, many also stately homes, all sorts of things which are older than 500 years. And it's that era that Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, and the Panchatattva, means Sri Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivas, heading the devotee, the Jiva Soul devotee section, that they had their pastimes. And the places of their pastimes have been revealed, and the places that Mahaprabhu went to in Vrindavan, some of them have been revealed by Mahaprabhu, like Radha Kund, but the pastimes of the Lord, both as Mahaprabhu and as Krishna, then they've been revealed, shown to us, identified. And where we've had a little doubt, because sometimes we wonder, is it really so? A place that we hear on, for instance, Navadip Dham Parikrama, the place we hear about. And if there's a little doubt that did we read this anywhere in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books? No. So some claim by people that this is such and such a place, then we would check with Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, and they would be our guiding, well, always our guiding light, but our guiding light for the parikramas. So Radha Sundari, I saw, put up a hand, just not a hand, she gave some obeisances just now. Would you like to give us a glimpse of Mayapur, Radha Sundari Devi? Do you have your camera on?
Dhanyavad, dear devotees, Dhanyavad Maharaj. Today is Thursday, and maybe I can do it on Sunday, because on the weekdays I prepare for school. Padma needs to get ready for school, and myself as well. And I'm mostly at home, like doing things to get ready for that day.
Okay. So maybe we can book you for this Sunday, if it is possible. And you could, and if you are somewhere, anyway, wherever you are in Mayapur is wonderful. But if you are at one of the holy spots, that would be super wonderful. You can just share that with us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Jai Shri Gurudev, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
And Chintamani, she's quite likely it's now 6, it's 7:30. No, yes, 7:41. Okay, she's probably in the morning program in Eka Chakra. Eka Chakra is in Bengal, and morning program, or a bit too early for breakfast, but maybe breakfast. Let's see. Muri, yogurt, and bananas. This is my prophecy for their breakfast. Not prophecy, but pure guess. Okay. If it was our time, that would be the breakfast time. Maybe green chili added, little bit of spice, but that would be breakfast. Hare Krishna. So, Kumkum, should we ask you first? I don't remember who we asked first last week. We do want to share out the first bidding. Kumkum, did he? Please, a few words from you. It's back to basics, and help us to keep our feet walking in the right direction, and help us keep our feet on the ground. I think that shouldn't be too difficult to do for some of us, at least. Hare Krishna. I can't hear anything. Your microphone. Click, click.
My Dandavat to you, Maharaj, and all of the Vaishnavas present. And I've actually been following from what we discussed a week or two ago about how the souls all the way from Brahmaloka down to the bottom all are taking birth again, but not one who is devoted to me. So that's 8:16 in the Gita. Brahma bhuvanaloka punararvar tinorjuna mamupecha tukonteya punarjanma navidyate. And so in the beginning of the very next chapter, 9, I was finding how this really is very encouraging, the positive side of what we're trying to do. Very encouraging for us to keep up with our practices and our association, because he says, the Supreme Lord said, I now reveal to you who are without envy this most hidden treasure of knowledge, of pure devotion, with direct realization of me, knowing which you will be liberated from inauspiciousness, from all that is opposed to devotion. Know this to be the King of secrets, the King of knowledge, supreme, pure, and imperishable. It is known by direct realization, by one eager to serve me. It is the perfection of religion, and very easy to practice. O conqueror of the enemy, men who have no faith in this hidden treasure of devotion to me are unable to reach me, and so they remain wandering on the path of death in the material world. So I find it to be so encouraging and something that reflects everything we need to know, especially this second verse, Raja Vidya, Raja Guya, Pavitram Idamuttamam, Prajaksha Vagamam Dharmya, Sushukat Kartam Avyayam. So from the very beginning and all the time, when we concentrate on this and try to understand this, it sums up much of our necessity. We're receiving so much mercy from our teachers. Oh, you're hearing something from the outside?
A Ferrari.
Perhaps.
Or a teenager who just took out the baffles in his exhaust in the muffler.
True. I'm currently away from home, so.
It's peaceful again now. But the sound of the car doesn't take away from what you have just pointed out to us. And coming through you, it's like a spotlight, which has helped us to also think, yes, we read this many, many times. But really, this and the saying, by direct perception you will understand it. So here's Krishna. He's giving the promise. You understand these things, and I'm telling you this, but you do these things, you follow my instruction, and what's going to happen? You will feel, you will understand.
Yes.
And it is hidden, and so much is hidden. We were mentioning about the spirit, about the pilgrimages just now, the spiritual places. Then where our temple is in Navadip, it is Gupta Govardhan.
Mm-hmm.
And in Navadip, the places of the pilgrimage, the places of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, mostly they were all washed away by the will of the Lord when the Ganges flooded. And so they are also hidden. And they've been revealed or indicated to in due course of time. But here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that reality, it is hidden. I'm telling you all these things. It's hidden. But here we are. I'm going to show it to you, show you how to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Now, if I can find the Gita, it was continuing from there, was it?
Well, the verse we were talking about is 8:11 and the 8:16.
Yeah.
These are 9:1, 2, and 3.
Giant. 9, 1, 2, and 3.
Struck us so beautifully in the very beginning. It was so confirming that we were making the right choice. But every single time we read it, even up to today, is better and better convincing about practices and all of the advice that we get, how to choose what association and how to try to serve Vaishnavas without envy and on, everything.
The Supreme Lord said, I now reveal to you who are without envy. And this is also the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Vedavyas is saying that this book is for those who are non-envious. So this necessity, I now reveal to you who are without envy, the most hidden treasure of knowledge of pure devotion. So not just of knowledge, but of knowledge of pure devotion, with direct realization of me, knowing which you will be liberated from inauspiciousness, from all that is opposed to devotion. Sometimes we say, okay, I'm going to let you into a secret. So know this to be the king of secrets,
Yeah.
the king of knowledge, supreme, pure, and imperishable. It is known by direct realization, by one eager to serve me. It is the perfection of religion, and, after all that, very good news, and it is very easy to practice. O conqueror of the enemy, men who have no faith in this hidden treasure of devotion to me are unable to reach me, and so they remain wandering on the path of death in the material world.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna. And in other words, Krishna is again saying here, this revelation, that it is only by seva to Krishna, by devotion to Krishna, that we can come to him. And standing on our heads, staying submerged in water, giving away all our possessions, doing so many things, austerities, doing so many good things in the sense of opening hospitals, doing charity work, etc. None of it is going to come to the land of permanence, the land of dedication, the land of life where everyone is dedicated to Krishna. And you know that there is that expression in the scripture where it says that if one becomes a devotee, really becomes a devotee, a pure devotee, then for 7 generations of his family before and 7 generations afterwards are all liberated. And Srila Guru Maharaj was asked about this. So all his family, they're coming back to Goloka. And Guru Maharaj said, no. To go to Goloka, oneself has to develop devotional mood, not by secondary representation. Liberation, in the sense of liberated from birth, death, old age, and disease, that can be achieved. The general understanding of liberation, that will be affected by the devotee. But to enter Goloka Vrindavan must be that the individual person will engage in, will not only engage in service, but their mood will be a servitor instead of an exploiter. So we have to change our consciousness. It's all about consciousness. So everybody understands that the most hidden treasure is, fill in the dotted line. Anybody wants to volunteer the answer? Kumkum knows. I may or may not know. Okay, I see everybody's hand is up. Very good. So you all know. Loving devotional service to Sri Krishna-Reality the Beautiful. That he is all in all. Everything is meant for him. This is what we need to do with our life. Yes, Kumkum. And the purport commentary by Kumkum Devi Rasi.
Well, what we can now read into it, and actually one Zoom class I was listening to just the other day from October, by Your Grace, explaining how we must understand clearly how to take and steadily take the proper path, and not go up, and like in the very beginning things seem very easy and very rewarding, and our faith becomes very strong, but second lesson may have its challenges. The example of when Srila Prabhupada first came to America, there was no concern about Vaishnava aparad or Dham aparad, because there were none, and devotees quickly made very wonderful progress. But then after continuing like that, then, Maya could make her attacks just to try to help us become strong in the accurate way. And so then we could go down and not make progress. So you could even go very far down. So to continue to practice with the proper attitude, so including hearing all the time about avoiding the offenses and avoiding neglect of our service, and chanting the holy names and things like that are necessary. We have to work a little bit harder, but it's still the same ultimate message to make progress and to practice in the association of devotees, as we hear from our divine line coming down to help us.
And Krishna here says, and it is easy to practice. What do you have to say about that, Kumkum?
At least the part about honoring prasad. No one will ever say, no one, unless they have a crazy idea about this is not on my diet or something. But no one will not be very happy by taking prasad, even completely without understanding of what is benefiting them spiritually.
And when somebody does want to take into their own hands that, oh, I'll be healthy if I eat like this and not take prasadam, It not only doesn't benefit the person, but it can displease the guru. And we have this example in, I don't like to say in the time of Guru Maharaj, with Srila Guru Maharaj directly present with us in Navadip. There's one devotee who, like you were indicating, some may have like their own diet, but their own diet for their, their own ideas. Somebody's convinced them that eat like this and you're going to be very healthy. And he was eating his own diet and not prasadam. And Guru Maharaj was displeased. I know, I was there. Guru Maharaj was displeased. What?
Yes.
He's doing this and neglecting Mahaprasad.
Yes. Yes.
And so we want to please our masters so they are happy when we honor prasad.
Once in Los Angeles, a very long time ago, there was a group of devotees who felt very sincerely that they needed to have an unusual diet, mostly vegetable juices. And this meant that because the devotees didn't have income, they all did temple service, but they didn't have income for that. And so they were always petitioning the kitchen that they could have a disproportionate amount of celery or whatever. And so it came to his attention, and he said, and how is their service increasing because of this? Are they getting like so much energy? And actually it was quite the opposite, that, well, this is something we're going through temporarily and it makes us very weak, but it will make us so healthy in the future. And so that was the main point that he didn't like. They're not taking prasadam, and they are trying to. And of course, we can all adjust our diet as necessary. A diabetic better not take all of the maha sweets, but not neglect or dishonor prasad.
Of course, there's a difference between for actual necessity of like a health condition. But the health, look at the diet in Navadip, look at all of the sadhus in the past. They're not making a big focus on getting all the vitamins, this, that, and the other. They're taking what's coming to them, which they're seeing is coming to them from the Lord. They're taking prasadam, living simply. And actually, it's a long time ago, but I read something that if you actually want to be healthy, you should eat very simply and do lots of exercise, like a poor person. Said the poor people, this is from in India, they said the poor people are healthy, the rich people are unhealthy because they're taking excessive diet and not getting exercise. But those who are working in the fields, they're taking very simple and getting lots of exercise. Anyway, that's a secondary matter. The matter is prasadam and satisfying the Lord. But devotional service. Oh, okay. So about the devotional service, I had that little thought that Krishna says it is easy to practice, but we also get the caution. It's also got its challenges along the way. But those challenges along the way are minor compared with what we would have to face if we were trying to become like spiritual without knowing this secret of that we have to become a devotee. That what we eat, as we mentioned just now, whatever we eat, whatever we do, whatever we give away, whatever penances we perform, we should do it for Krishna. We should do it for the Lord. And when we come to understand this, then yes, any difficulties that we face, and there must be some challenges, but they will be relatively minor than trying to go off to the forest and meditating on our own and doing all these other things that we sort of indicated a little time ago. Staying submerged in water, cold water in the winter, surrounded by fire in the summer, all of these different things. Just think about that. Whatever challenges you're going to face there, we wouldn't put that in the category of easy to practice
at all
from the outset. And this is one of the things that when I very first was reading Srila Prabhupada's teachings, then he's making clear, it's practical for everyone. What Mahaprabhu has given, the chanting of the holy name, engaging in this the practical service of being a devotee in Kali Yuga. It's available for everyone, not just somebody who thinks that they're going to be able to be very austere and meditative, focus their attention for 8 hours a day or 24 hours a day. I mean, this is the goal. The yogis, they are trying to be continuously separated from the world. But anybody who's done yoga, they know within a few seconds, the mind is running somewhere else. And so do we want to be pretending, or do we want to be doing something real? And when we get the contact of the reality agents, then we can come into the plane of doing something real, because we'll be doing it under the guidance instead of practicing with our little plastic tea set to, have a picnic as children, they practice. Then we'll come into the actual making of the biscuits and the cakes and the garam jal, the tea, etc. And then we'll come into the reality of having a picnic in substance. So again, sadhu sangha. And Krishna then also does say this in Gita. Approach those who have this and come with relevant inquiry, with humility and with service. Kumkumdiri, we all appreciate the highlight that you've given. Hare Krishna. Jivanadi. I know you're prepared. Please.
Just wanted to kind of meditate on all the things that Kumpum Didi brought up. So many beautiful, deep points. And so, like you call this, the back to basics. They're very basic, but at the same time, they're completely not basic. They're very deep. And very nice to consider all those. I also was thinking about, so then just to digress, I just was thinking about how you said about losing all the information on the hard drive, and how sometimes for you, I thought that was a really good example of how we want to internalize Krishna consciousness. Sort of wasn't thinking like that until you mentioned that. I thought, yeah, it's really important to have it be part of your heart, not just the externals, because right now in SoCal, all the electricity is out, which means they don't have lights, they don't have internet, they don't even have water. Well, they have water, but not running water. They have to run out there and fill up buckets. And maybe it will go on for another 24 hours. So we had some pretty big storms, but the storm had passed. And then today was a more mellow day, but today's the day the electricity went out. So, but anyway, there's always the association of the devotees, and you still manage to do somehow or other all the service that needs to be done, even without all the external help. So I thought that was really cool that you brought that point up about the hard drive. Like, you can't depend always on the external circumstances, really try to internalize things. So let's see. I actually have this class from 2020 that I took just a few notes. Actually, it's one of your classes, Maharaj. But anyway, so long ago that maybe it will also feel new for you. But it was about how we have to learn to live with others. That was one of your statements. We have to learn to live with others, which is a really wonderful point. And to always think in a positive way about the devotees. The mind, just from so many millions and millions of lifetimes of conditioning, the mind just automatically wants to go the other direction. It's just like automatic. you have to catch yourself and go, wait a minute, this is previous conditioning. I don't want that anymore. I was horribly conditioned for so many years. And so to try and think in a positive way always about the devotees. And you had mentioned how the verses are living, and that in the ocean of nectar, one drop is also complete. It's also full. So even if we can just hear a little something like we heard from Kumkum, I mean, maybe it was only for 5 or 10 minutes, but we can see how much is there. So much nectar is there, so much satisfying knowledge is there, information and help in our spiritual life, just in a few minutes that she gave. So then a little bit more of this class was going on to how you mentioned that the Bhagavad Gita is a user manual. It's the user manual for the world. So everybody has a user manual. If you buy a new lawnmower, it comes with a user manual. How am I going to use this piece of equipment? You have to do this, that, and the other. And if you even get a new toaster or anything, a new computer, there's always a user manual. And Bhagavad Gita is the user manual for our life. It's the user manual for being here in the world and how to live and how to progress. So, and then there are other really nice quote was here. Anantasesha, with his thousands of mouths, he cannot finish the description of the glories of one pastime, one Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we are connected with something very wonderful. When we wake up, we will see everything is most perfect. Right now, we are hearing something of the outside world, outside of our cave. We are getting some news of that world, but our connection with Guru Maharaj is guaranteeing our success from Srila Gurudev. But how soon, that is in our hands to some degree. So it's definitely assured of success, but how quickly, how soon we can get there, that will be in our hands. So I think what Kumkum was saying about the importance of practicing and continuing with our service. Some days you feel like it and sometimes you just don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. It's just the mind playing his little games. Just have to tell him to go away, be quiet. Or as some of the prayers, was it Narottam Das Thakur who wrote that song, My Dear Mind, My Brother, please concentrate yourself on the lotus feet of Krishna. So sometimes we can speak to our mind at, my dear mind, please try to do this. You will be so much happier, and I will certainly be happier if we can do this together. So that was just a little something, Maharaj, but very lovely.
And of course, all of these points, they are from Srila Gurudev, they're from Srila Guru Maharaj, they're from Srila Prabhupada. We are giving these highlights and things which strike us. And so it is good for us to remember each of these points one by one by one. And while you are remembering this, you took some notes that helps us remember. I'm thinking, I'm going to remember, I'm going to try to remember, like the highlight that Kumkum Didi gave us this morning. I'm going to try to remember that, like that highlight all day. It shouldn't be an inspiration just for a moment. Then all these things, they're inspirations for forever, for all of our lifetime. But we can't dwell on only one thing. We're always getting like fresh highlights, and then like you're mentioning from 2020, things that we're in the forefront of our thoughts, giving us inspiration. We were sharing that. And it is always fresh that we can come back to these points. And by the way, Narottam Nitai Prabhu has joined us. And you both touched a little bit on something, that there are challenges in devotional service. Did Narottam Nitai suddenly not join us? No, or you turned on your you turned on your video, so you jumped on my screen. So, Prabhu, you came up with a question, and I noted it. I promise you, I haven't remembered it word for word. I noted it here. And you came up with a question this last Sunday, wasn't it? The last back to basics. And you said, if we are taking to the process, how can we avoid the tendency to see political problems and trends in the world, especially when it comes to things dear to us, and actually use that to go deeper into our sadhana, bhajan, reading, bhakti, etc. So maybe, Jivana, would you like to make a comment on this? Some tip, because it's a question. How can we avoid the tendency to see political problems and trends in the world, especially when it comes to things that are dear to us, and actually use that to go deeper into our sadhana, bhajana, reading, etc.?
Well, that's a really good question, and certainly extremely relevant. Always, not only just in this time, but always. And we would really like to hear what you have to say about that, Maharaj. That's a really good
Well,
question.
yes, well, I do agree with you, and that it's a good question. And the point comes down to that those things that are dear to us, like Srila Gurudev explains, and I think it's in Revealed Truth, he explains that those things which are dear to us, then instead of using for ourselves, we'll give them up, and when they will come up, we'll offer them to Krishna. So if we, in the food line, then if we particularly like, a certain taste, then we will try to avoid that because I like, but we'll offer those tasteful things which we know are tasteful and offer those to the Lord. So we want to be detached from the me and mine, I, me, mine, this idea, I like, oh, it will give me pleasure, I want, all this kind of thing. And the things which are our local interests, we want to leave aside. And if we can, then if it was our interest in a particular way, our speciality interest, we will try to engage that in Krishna's service. But we will leave aside that it is for me, it is my kind of passion to save the dolphins or whoever needs saving in the world. Oh, that's just an example. But people give their life for literally give their life. In Africa, when I was there was one lady who was trying to save the gorillas, and she gave her life for it, because those who hunt gorillas, they hunted her. So people give their life for all sorts of things, which are very local interest, but on the face of it, very good thing to do. But we must try to use that tendency to do good, to try to pursue something good in our life, to save the gorillas, for instance. It's not a bad thing, but it is not Krishna conscious that, for Krishna, I'm doing something for Krishna. So that tendency to do good should be changed, to be channeled to doing what is really good. And Mahaprabhu has given us that clue. And that is, you always chant the name of Krishna, make yourself conscious of Krishna with everything, and tell others about Krishna. You chant his name, you worship the Lord, and tell others about Krishna. And how to avoid political things, that you want to make a lobby to this, that, and the other. The material world is going to go on, and there are unlimited politically good things that you could get involved in. But others will see to the material world. Now we've got a golden rope, a glowing golden rope, to take us out of darkness and to take us into light. And everything within the mundane world is different grades of the black and white, the gray area, in which birth and death take place, as we heard just before. Well, you weren't with us, but earlier on in the Zoom, in Gita, Krishna tells, This material world is the place where birth and death take place. And as long as we don't come to devotional service, we will loiter in the land of birth and death, getting good karma for good things we do, bad karma for the bad things we do. But all of that is temporary. You get a slap on the wrist and then you get a sweet, or you get a sweet, then you get a slap on the wrist. It's all good things and bad things in this world. Birth, some middle part, some temporary attempt to enjoy, and then death. And then all those temporary attempts to enjoy, we have to go to repay that. So, slap on the wrist and the sweet, a slap on the wrist and the sweet. So, to avoid the politically passioned things of the world, first of all, try to avoid hearing the mundane news. And it's not really try to avoid. We can avoid hearing it. We just have to be a little self-controlled, sense-controlled. We don't allow ourselves to go clicking on the news feed. We don't see something when we are going, you could say, innocently to somewhere on the web, and then some advert comes up and they're trying to get you to save this or save that, because they do come up. Instead, we'll keep our attention that, okay, good things to do, but we've come across the best thing to do. So when there is the best thing to do, which is the right thing to do, to wake up our Krishna consciousness, then we can consider that, yes, all of the very good proposals, supposedly good proposals in this world, that's for those who are still trying to do something good and haven't seen that golden rope that's coming down, have not heard about Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's actual gift, that he is coming to rescue the fallen souls, give a general amnesty, and bring them home. So we need to share that news, and we need to ourselves catch the boat, get others to come on the boat, and ourselves get on the boat. And the boat is there now for those who have got that introduction. So when we can regularly be nourished, instead of by the political news, but by the news of Shukadeva Goswami, Veda Vyas, his conclusion to the whole of the Veda, and of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj giving us the news of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and teachings, then we really don't have time for the other things. We say, yes, this is where we will give our attention every morning, and not turn on the radio or TV or something and get like convinced about doing some politically good things in the world. Or mostly when you turn on the radio and TV, it used to be, I'm sure it still is, the bad news of the world. They're scouring the world to find the bad news. But we'll scour the world to find the good news, the best news, and the best of the best. And that's the message of Mahaprabhu, the message of Krishna in Gita, as we've been hearing. And that is the message coming through the devotees that you're hearing today. And that message of the devotees is coming from the devotee, the pure devotees. So it is good to be passionate to do good, but the good to do is Krishna consciousness. And as much as we are exposed to different things, we will be attracted there. So that's why, one of the reasons why we are given so much stress by Rupa Goswami. I mean, in Upadeshamritam. Sorry, well, I'm not really sorry to come back to Upadeshamritam, but stressing not to hear mundane topics, not to keep association with mundane persons. Their qualities will rub off on you. You mix with them and you will be like them. And only carefully, if you are with the mundane persons, you'll be with them to emphasize to them that they should be using their life for a permanent reason, to come back home, back to Godhead. And when we see the material world and we see the life of others who are engaged very passionately in political things, then we should think, yes, we need to be passionate. They're very passionate about their purpose and giving 24 hours a day practically to their purpose. But that's an example for us. If they can be passionate about something political, which has temporary ends, then we should be extra passionate about our goal, which has permanent ends, focused there. Oh, I see lots of chats in the chat box too. So Naratam Nitaipu, I hope this may be helpful. Rupanuga Prabhu somehow? Rupanuga Prabhu.
In
Hare.
Nimbin. I'm in Nimbin in Australia, 25 minutes from Yukai, and there's a new dam being set up in the Gaudiya Mutt, and this is their first restaurant.
Well, 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 with tilak above the door.
Yeah, yeah.
We
yeah.
know.
In Nimbin of all places, yay.
I saw you with some flowers just now. Where were you taking those flowers? To Krishna?
Yes, to Krishna via you, Maharaj.
Aha.
And to my mother's 8th birthday.
Somebody's birthday? What?
And I'm taking them to my mother's 98th birthday tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, 98.
That's why I'm back in Australia, but I had to come to Nimbin to really believe that there's a Krishna consciousness has reached Nimbin.
They need it. Everywhere needs it, and especially Nimbin.
I went into another restaurant and asked about it, and I got abused.
No.
So I quickly came here to this loving place. Yeah.
Hare
I'll
Krishna.
show you. Hare Krishna.
Jai Rupanuga Prabhu, many thanks for sharing the good news. This is what we want to hear. We want to hear devotional news. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. And summer in New South Wales. Okay, so just let me have a quick look. There are 12 messages in the chat box, or 12 new messages in the chat box. And Chintamani, I am here at Srila Gurudev's mat in Puri. Let me close my windows so the monkeys don't get in and take you around. Okay, well, here's our opportunity. Let me just quickly look through what's in front or later on in the chat box. Everything within the environment. This is from Sevarupa. Should remind us of the absolute. In that spirit, we should move, thinking, accept me and connect me with the service of our Lord. And when the environment is seen with the correct vision, everything will help encourage and excite us in our service to the center. We are living in an organic whole, a system. These are Srila Guru Maharaj's words, I think. Oh yes, done. I share from Loving Search, yes, for the lost servant, which stood out for me this week. Many thanks for sharing, and very relevant to what we've just been discussing, Sevarupa Devi. But I see you put this in the chat box much earlier, more than half an hour ago, so you predicted what was going to come. Radha Sunri, how can we become without envy? Keep practicing and see the faults in ourselves. This, we must be fault-finding to ourselves and not looking to others, not being envious of others. We will be joyful with others' success. We will be happy to see others, the successful part of others, and we won't notice anything where we are judging others for their faults. This, I mean, in a very brief answer to Radha Sundari. And Mukunda Prabhu, oh Mukunda Prabhu, I have a question. Oh, Mukunda Prabhu, are you able to keep your question for next week? Yes, if you can keep the question for next week, because we're out of time basically, unless it's a short question in which you can let us know. But question from Narottam Nitai, this is through Leela Moy. If we are taking to the process, how can we avoid the tendency to see, oh, this is the question we've been talking about just now. Okay? And then Seva Rupa, everything within the environment should remind us in that spirit. Oh, this is the same being reposted for those who joined a little later, because in Zoom, when we join later, we don't see the earlier ones. And Rupa Nuga, I'm in a new Krishna cafe in Nimbin, a Krishna cafe. That sounds very good. I want to go to a Krishna cafe. All right, so Chintamani Devidasi earlier was volunteering to show us, oh, right now, live, she is in Jagannath Puri showing us the temple of Sri Sri Nitai Chaitanya Dev, and a wonderful temple that we've seen unmanifest fully and step by step to its manifest stage as we see today. And this is in Gora, a district called Gaurabatsai, and it's an area where Mahaprabhu would wander and where he would come and go when he was going to the sea beach. When in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see many times he's going to the ocean to take his noon duties, as doing his noon duties means going bathing, etc. in the ocean. And he would pass by here regularly. Again, how do we know? Srila Gurudev is telling this to us. And this is the beautiful temple, and don't be fooled by the size. Oh, it looks small. It's super sweet. It's again a manifestation from the heart of Gurudev in service to Guru Maharaj. And let's see, the deities are open. Yes, the deities are open.
Maharaj, they're having their breakfast right now. They just closed, like literally 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. What we were seeing there was your reflection, perhaps. I was thinking that you were a deity.
Hare Krishna.
It is a reflection, right? Must be. Looks like something living. Hare Krishna. Oh, so I see a little savor opportunity for the devotees. Hare Krishna. India does like to have wiring exposed. Perhaps they're happy. Look, we've got electricity. Hare Krishna. So they're in Jagannath Puri. Are you cleaning the rooms, or is the whole party there?
It's just me, Maharaj. The devotees will arrive tomorrow night around 10 o'clock from Navadvip.
Tomorrow
Yes,
night
I'm
at
preparing
10
the
o'clock.
rooms.
Hare Baba.
Yes. Hare Baba. Yeah.
Gurudev generally would want us all to arrive in an early time and have prasadam, come to the temple. But sometimes it's just not possible. And on his world tours, we try to arrange that he will depart at a sensible time, arrive at a sensible time. I mean, sensible means day. Depart in the day, arrive in the day. But it's not always possible, we know. And this is Tulsi, yes, Tulsi beside the temple. Okay, now we're doing Parikrama of Sri Sri Nitai Chaitanya Dev in the Puri temple. And it's a small temple, but very sweet. And that's the kitchen on the left. And now rooms on the left. Oops. Okay, we turn back to the kitchen. Okay, not quite like a Western kitchen, but it's a kitchen all the same where devotional service takes place. And then these are the rooms on the left side, downstairs, the bandari and different, and maybe a couple of rooms. And upstairs are the rooms for the devotees in general. And Srila Gurudev, so that was the very first building, this L-shaped building, but Gurudev made it taller. And in the middle, where the temple is now, was just a small garden. And really, for somebody mundane like me, it was very difficult to envisage a temple in that little garden. But this temple beautifully manifested. And it's one of Gurudev's miracles. And then this is walking through a strip of land at the back of the temple that goes to the Sevak Bhavan, which is now, well, it is the main place where the guests, the pilgrims will stay. And the servitors, generally, they're staying in the ashram building itself, where we were just now. But here we are, walking through the fortunate trees and Tulsi perhaps, but walking through those who've taken their birth in Puri Dham, the land of Lord Jagannath, the land of Mahaprabhu's extreme leela of separation. And this is the back gate that goes out onto a road, the same gate, the same bit of chain, the same latch. And those are all new buildings. Ours was the very first building on that side of the road. Okay, this is beside the gate. Okay, now across the road, yeah, those are all new buildings. They were not there before. This one on the right, you look both ways before you cross the street. Okay, there's one on the right with all the people outside. This is Hare Krishna, Govinda Govinda, Gopala Gopala, Haribol Haribol. This is our ashram. Or ashram means our guest house, and you see lots of people, Bengali pilgrims, staying there. And it's the ground floor plus 1, 2, 3 stories above. So lots of rooms, simple accommodation for pilgrims to come. And Srila Gurudev's room was the room downstairs on the left, as you were seeing there. Just can show the outside of Gurudev's room. We can't hear you, Chintamani, did he? On the left.
This room right here is Gurudev's room.
No, left. That's right. Or is your camera back to front? No.
I think it does it backwards. Oh, here, this way. This one.
That now go left. Okay, they're getting close, getting close. Yeah, it's down here. So this is Gurudev's room on the right, and Gurudev would sit here where you were pointing just now. Yeah, he would sit here, and the devotees, many, many hours and many beautiful days of sweet, intimate, kind of worry-free, natural darshan with Srila Gurudev right here. Hare Krishna Jai, wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Sevak Bhavan ki Jai. And Gurudev liked this room because he can see everybody coming in and out, all the devotees, and he can see also the street, like the life which is outside. And the devotees made a nice room for him upstairs in the temple building, the ashram beside the temple. But Gurudev said, no, I want to be in the Sevak Bhavan downstairs. Because even though it was a nice room, it wasn't so readily available for the devotees. They'd feel shy to go upstairs, go to Gurudev in his room. And so Gurudev in Puri was very happy to be with the devotees. Always happy to be with the devotees, but that room made it so suitable for him to see. And he would come with us on some of our little pilgrimages, come with us to the ocean also. Not every day, but he was happy to come. Haridas Thakur's Samadhi just nearby. Oof, going upstairs very fast. We're getting exhausted. This is the top floor, but it does go out to the roof. Oh, this is the roof. Ah, but it's locked. Yeah. There we are, looking out. And from the roof, you can see the sea. Now these buildings on the right, we can't actually, maybe we can't see the sea from where we are here. These are new buildings, not that. It is the world of advancement. Oh, there's the sea. Okay, we take your word for it. We'll go down and put on our...
It's a bit overcast today, so you can't quite see, but yes, we're looking right directly to the sea. And if you all would wait maybe 5 minutes, I can take you there.
Next time, you can take us there on Sunday.
Any other special requests for Sunday?
Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. All right. Oh, Daryl raised a hand, but Daryl, we're just finishing up. Hare Krishna. And in the meantime, Prafulla Krishna, oh, so happy to see you with us. Munindra Mohan Prabhu specifically asking about you a couple of days ago. We are all missing you here.
Jai Maharaj.
Jai Prafulla Prabhu. Dandavat. And to those who joined us in the meantime, also Narayani Nadia popped up just on time. I don't know how long you've been with us, but good to see you, Narayani Didi. And Catherine, with a picture of Krishna to remind us of Krishna. And Ananda Sundari Didi, welcome. And I did notice you coming in a little earlier too. And Ashrapurna Didi, Gangalila, Mukunda we greeted. Priya Bhakta Prabhu, sitting there in Australia quietly. And all else, I think, we acknowledge along the way. So, Leela Moy Prabhu is looking after us at the moment, and Praneshwari Didi facing some challenges being given out by the material world. And she's been very responsible and given Leela Moy Prabhu the opportunity to keep the Zoom running. So we're very grateful for that, and we're very grateful for the presence of all of you with us. And Mukunda Prabhu, now we can see your form with your video too. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, so let us remember Kumkum's spotlight, the first 3 verses of chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. Let us keep revisiting, keep them in our mind, with or without the book in front of us. Let's keep that remembrance. Because several things are listed in those 3 verses. It's a great opportunity. Mahaprabhu has made everything accessible. He's made Bhagavad Gita living for us. And here we are in the age when it is the mercy of Mahaprabhu, not by our qualification, except we should try to pray for his mercy with humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, chastity to our Guru Varga, sincerity, and only that, then our life must be successful. Jai Srila Gurudev Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. All our present day Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai. And all the assembled Vaishnavas ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. With
Jai Shri Bhakti Ranjan Mansur Maharaj ki jai.
with our appreciation, our obeisances, and our well wishes for your successful week and successful life. Until we meet again. Dandavat, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda.